जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
হায়দ্রাবাদ উপচার এক্সপ্রেস পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दियो.
Well, that was a very good end for the Knight Riders of winning the toss and putting Lucknow into bat. And with that kind of batting lineup, if you can stop them at this, yeah, they've managed to stop them at 161. Well, you'll take that 6 days of the week and twice on Sundays, won't you, Gilly?
Yes, indeed. Indeed, yeah. Well, Mitchell Starc, it's probably the talking point when you think of all the discussion around him.
Yeah.
Coming into the game and coming into the IPL.
Context,
the top and tail. He did what he's made his name for, what he's made the big price at the auction for, and that's a great start for him to come in and make that impact.
Yeah, he really did that. And let's not, I mean, Dooley, we can talk about Sunil Narayan, but it's just as boring now, right? It's just Narayan doing Narayan things.
Brilliant. Yeah, he was so good. And look, may have been a slightly slower surface than we expected. It didn't quite come onto the bat as much as I thought it might, or as much as they maybe gave the impression. We've got to stop listening to those idiots at the pitch report. I mean, they just never get it right, honestly. It's great not being on
Tell us how you really feel about that.
I'm only joking with Badri, he knows. But honestly, we've watched so many pitch reports, and I don't know how many they've just got it completely wrong.
Here's the thing. When you turned the volume on the pitch report, if you remember, I said, yeah, let's figure out what the opposite will actually be.
Exactly. But no, look, it maybe just didn't come on, but I think Kolkata bowled beautifully. I think they used their cut as well. I was impressed with Starc up front. We saw a couple of bounces. We saw a couple of short balls. Didn't just try and float it up there. And you look at those figures, that'll do him the world of good.
13 dots.
Yeah, such a confidence player. And he'll now walk into that dressing room feeling a little bit taller than his 6'6" already is, and just feel like, okay, I've done it once. I feel like I can do it. I feel like I belong a little bit more. So that was superb from his point of view. Narayan 1 for 17. Just continues.
Can I just tell you about Narayan? Do the math, right? It's 24 balls, 7 are dots. So 17 scoring balls, 17 runs.
Yeah.
Can you do the math? Can you do the math?
Look at that.
There you go.
Well, he ruined the sequence with a wicket, didn't he? But no, he was just outstanding on a wicket. There was no turn. He's never been a big turner, has he? But just the lengths he got into, he just pushed the batters back more slightly onto the back foot, but not back enough where you can get power in. So it was just noodling it around, pushing into gaps. They had no way to manipulate him. KL Rahul looked like he had the intent early, but as soon as Narayan came on, that just sucked the life straight out of it. And all of a sudden, the vacuum comes in. Yeah. So it was outstanding from him.
That ball-by-ball breakdown, it's a piece of beauty. It's a work of art. We'll put that up on the screen again, because how many times will you see this in a T20 game? I mean, that is just nuts. That's just how miserly he is. And I'll tell you something. The last time I saw so many singles bunched up together was at a Delhi nightclub.
There it is.
I like it.
Do you know the game Connect 4?
Yes.
He's done it. He did it twice. He had 2 rows of 4 ones.
2 lines.
I'm going to get it tomorrow. We'll play it.
Yeah, we'll see if we can match his effort. But, hey, again, I'd said it in the com box at the halfway point. Well done, Shreyas Iyer, for getting Mitchell Starc that third over, which got him a wicket. Well, he got the wicket for the captain, but as you said, Dooley, gave him that bit of confidence, and then he comes back at the end. And
great catch too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need that. I think you mentioned it. Every now and then you just need something to go your way, whether it be someone takes a blinder and all of a sudden you pick your wicket up and it just gives you that little boost. And it was a terrific catch at backward points.
Ramandeep at point took that catch, and I think he dropped one in the previous game against Chennai. If you remember, there was a high ball that he dropped. But today he got that one at point. That was a blind. It was one of the catches of the tournament, actually, when you see reaction time. It was pretty much parallel to the ground when he caught it. And then he caught one at the boundary as well. So he'll be feeling good about that, because you never want to drop catches. And there was a thing I'd read about Vaibhav Arora. I don't know if you guys read that as well. Playing a domestic game, 7 drop catches and of his bowling, and he almost quit international cricket. He was quit cricket.
Quit cricket completely. He said he was done. It took some not stern words, but some comforting words from his coach
Who said it
for him to actually come back and play cricket again.
Yeah.
7 catches dropped in a domestic game.
Yeah.
And he said, I've had enough. I'm done. I cannot bowl again. If you cannot catch, I cannot bowl again. Boots off, gone. He was on his way. He was never going to play the game again.
Yeah, it's a bit like
coach sort of.
It's a bit like Rohan Gavaskar when he gets the guessing game wrong. He's just like, I don't want to play it anymore. Today he got it wrong by 1 run on the Hindi show. He's got it wrong by 1 run. So I bet he's going to quit the guessing game as well.
We were so shattered for him too, weren't we? We were so disappointed for him.
That's right. We applauded and cheered. We applaud and cheer. The thing with us is we're such a tight group that if you show a raw nerve or some emotional vulnerability, we're going to step on it with spikes. That's what we do with raw nerves. Well, talking about nerves, let's talk about Vaibhav Arora because we spoke about him before. That 19th over that he's bowled, the two of you have had a roller coaster of emotions with that, haven't you?
Yeah. Hey, good though. I mean, I talked last night a lot about Punjab just going away from the plan. If you have a plan, stick to it. Yeah. So the plan was to go wide. Obviously, there was one shortish ball, I think, that went. But the plan to go wide worked. You know, you have to, as a skipper, and it's tough, I know, but you have to, as a skipper, accept that there will be a wide or two in the over. If your plan is to bowl just inside those tram lines, I used to love, from a keeping point of view, I had a great relationship with the wicket keepers, and I would just line your gloves up where you think I'm going to go. And I mean, I'd be interested to know from your point of view, if you're looking at that, just line your gloves up where you want him to hit you. Yeah. And that's kind of, I always felt the keeper's gloves are in the right place. Don't worry about what the batter's doing. Yeah. Don't worry about what, his movement, all that sort of stuff, or the stumps. My line was all about the keeper and the keeper's gloves. And so if the keeper can set up sort of direct angle from where he knows the bowler releases it, just on that line, just set up and just hit my gloves. Those sorts of things can work quite well. So I had no problem with this off pace, wide of off, full balls up, wide of off, set a plan, set the field.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Brett Lee used to come and ask me to remind him. Yeah. Particularly in the death overs. You know, this is more in 50-over cricket again, where we played most of that time together. But he'd say, just come and remind me after at the end of over, just get it through to me, to exactly that exact terminology. Get it through to, I want to get the ball through to your gloves.
Yeah, but you had to remind him. Didn't you just
put
a reminder on your phone, like do something? I've got enough going on. Anyway, I've got to do all the squats. I've got to run up and down. There's enough for the wicketkeeper to do, Binga. Giving him another job. Well, today the Lucknow batters, they had one job. Right? They had one job, is to give a challenge to the Kolkata batters who have been on a rampage, right? They've got that batting lineup and they will not be happy with this, Gilly, and they shouldn't be.
No, they needed, again, it wasn't the biggest rescue job, but they needed another little Nicky P special at the back. They relied on Badoni last time to get anything that was remotely competitive. So there's stop-start there, isn't it? It's no one's banged out. Not so much the big score that we keep talking about disappearing to an extent, but no one nailed that strike rate of 200 innings that gives the innings the impetus to launch on and others to build around. So it was an innings of frustration, I think. It had promising sign from KL early, but then, and again, maybe you tie in all those little factors of the pitch and credit to the KKR bowlers.
Yeah, it's definitely, and putting it in perspective, this is definitely not one of those 210, 220 pitches. No. For sure.
No, I think what we saw enough of those cutters. Remember, afternoon games, so dew is not going to be any factor at all. So it will remain much the same, maybe even just slow down a little bit. Looking at the scores, some of the shots, you're thinking probably 175, 180, maybe par, something like that. They're probably 15 short. Bowl unbelievably well, pick up some early wickets, you're a chance.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're out of it here at all, Lucknow. They're certainly not out of it if they bowl well, but they're going to have to bowl well for a long period of time because they've just got power all the way down that order.
True.
Have Kolkata, and that's the danger thing. You get them within 40, 50, and it just takes an over of Rinku or an over of Dre Russ, and the game can be taken away from you. Just one thing about that scorecard again, and we said it prior to the game starting. I mean, Nicholas Pooran just... I've seen him bat inside the power play so often. So often inside the power. You imagine that man coming in when Quinton de Kock gets out. Instead of sending Deepak Hooda in, just bat your best batter at number 3. He is not a pinch hitter. He is not a slogger. He is not he could be a great finisher, but he's a batter, a genuine batter. And I've seen him inside power plays in tournaments where he just destroys the opposition with only 2 fielders out.
And just to add to that point, I'm just saying, if you're bowling Sunil Narayan, if you know that the X factor of the opposing side is Sunil Narayan, he's seen more of Sunil Narayan than probably Deepak Hooda and Ayush Badoni have.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. And the fact that Badoni, it's almost like they've reacted, LSD, on the success of Badoni in the previous game, batting at, I think he was 7, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And they go, whoa, okay. So they throw him up in a totally foreign position to the one previously.
On a tougher pitch.
It's a completely different set of circumstances. So, again, we've mentioned it a few times over the last couple of days, consistency, whether of selection or position within the team, that's what seems to breed success.
Yeah, and with Hooda as well. He was the impact sub, came to bat at number 6 in the previous game, sent him up at 3. He got stuck as well. He was out of sorts. So otherwise, playing 10 balls in a power play and not getting a run a ball, you've really got to be stuck. So I think just a little bit of confusing thinking from LSG there with their batting order, who to send when to optimise the scoring grade.
It lends itself to David Warner's comment in the press a couple of days ago. Over-analysing the game, overthinking it. So whether it's confusing thinking, I think certainly overthinking it.
Yeah. Analysis paralysis, they call it, right?
That's the one.
That's what they call it, well, there's, of course, this game, KKR, what they'd look at that batting lineup would look at 162 target and say, these are 2 points for us to literally lose, right? So, they just bat. They can pretty much close this game out in the power play with Phil Salt and Sunil Narayan. And odds on, they're going to be looking at doing that, especially Sunil Narayan will be looking at doing that. And if you give him some good, quick bowling, as long as it's not up here in his armpit, he's going to dispatch everything else. So, they'll look at bowling at him there. Well, let's just quickly change our focus a little bit to the evening game because we're in Mumbai and we can hear it. We can hear it from the window, can't we, Dooley? We can hear the crowds getting to the Wankhede Stadium.
Chaotic at the moment.
Classico,
absolutely chaotic down there at the moment. I'm glad we're, 5 miles away.
Yeah.
It would just be chaos.
Yeah.
Well, I did go out from a stroll this morning.
Yeah.
I was going to say run, but it was more a stroll.
Was it?
While you were on the golf course.
Not break into a jog at all?
No, a little jog,
Okay.
a slow jog. But even in the early morning, you could feel the presence of a classic game come. And, yes, the Mumbai representation's there, but there was some sprinklings of yellow around. So maybe that is the Mumbaikers, like you said, trying to turn up and get their free Mumbai shirt.
Free Mumbai shirt.
Yeah, listen, it's
Reverse Millage.
there's going to be a lot of heat. You can tell there's going to be the heat of battle. That's why we thought this requires some jaldi cooling. So this is our coolest advice, powered by Crompton Air Coolers, jaldi cooling. I think this one is more in general for Chennai bowling, right? If you're talking about Chennai bowling and Chennai bowlers, I think the advice to them, we've got a couple of winners. Some people have sent in their advice as well, but we can start with you guys.
Well, look, it's not an easy place to come and bowl. We've seen that. How do you limit the damage? I think that's what you're looking for. You still got to try and take wickets with that brand new ball.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. You can't be limiting damage from ball number 1. You got to try and take wickets in that power play. If it doesn't swing, go to plan B. Plan B depending on where the pitch is, it's probably going to be somewhere near the middle, being a classic game. You've got to try and minimise where you're going to get hit for 6. And what are look at the batters you're coming up against. Does this guy play the short ball particularly well? Does he play down the ground better? So do I go into the wicket, hard length at him? Can I be a little bit fuller, make him drive if he's not a powerful player down the ground? Those sorts of little things. And each batter will have their idiosyncrasies, their power shots, the ones they look at more often than not. So from a bowling point of view, limit the damage.
Yeah.
But really still look to pick up wickets, because the more you pick up wickets, the more pressure goes on the opposition. So how do I get wickets?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the key for them. And it could swing early on.
Yeah.
And Mumbai been quite.
It does sometimes
a
in the
little bit.
evening.
No wind. Been very light breeze today compared to the wind that's been around the last couple of days. So might be a little more muggy.
Yeah, the thing is that the only way you can restrict them is by taking wickets, because Mumbai goes on a roll. They love this ground. They love batting at this ground. They love batting big at this ground. So if you leave aside that one aberration, that Rajasthan aberration, the rest of it, look at them. I mean, they're just always going above 10 and over.
Well, those stats there and that run rate on the right tell you where the battle begins for the Chennai Super Kings bowling lineup. It's before a ball is even bowled. You've got to mentally absorb that and just maybe realign your thinking. Okay, ideally we'd love to keep them to 160 or 150 or, that'd be a really successful bowling effort like what we've just seen from KKR. But maybe you're thinking, if we can keep them to 200, to par score of the last 8 games or 7 of the last 8 games. So that's where it starts. I think the Fizz, Mustafizur Rahman is going to play a big role in his skill in taking pace off. I just think that's having the courage to go, I'm going to take pace off, like the adrenaline, the atmosphere, it's a big ticket item, it's the biggest, hottest ticket in town. Still, the adrenaline can get you going too much. Certainly as a batter, you can be swinging too hard, not thinking through it. Take the emotion out of it and play on skill, and I think his skill is going to play a huge factor tonight.
To Ishan Kishan, I'd like to see the fine leg up in the circle and the deep square leg back straight away. Give him that option to do that.
Absolutely,
Keep your third down, because he can swing the ball away a little bit, so you bring him into play. But give him that option early on, because Ishan Kishan won't back off. He will go for it. So you give him that slow ball option, and he's just as likely to hit it straight up in the air to deep square leg. So that would be one ploy. If they're bowling first, who knows? But up against Rohit, I wouldn't mind seeing the pace off again. Just take it away from him.
I think that's the courageous play, take pace off. Because there's a natural instinct, you think, if you don't quite land it, it's going to travel. But everything seems to travel there.
Anyway, so might as well
back your best skill.
Back your best skill, your best option. And the Fizz has played, of course, with the Mumbai team, so he'll know this Wankhede setup, so won't get overawed. The question is that will they be, if Pathirana's fit, do they bring him in place of Fizz? And we spoke about it last night, and we said, don't do it. That's our advice. Don't do it. Okay. We've got some winners as well. There's some advice that has come in for Chennai. This is from Marella Murthy. That's a lot, man. That's like an analysis note. Open the bowling with Tushar Deshpande as he's accurate. My coolest advice to Chennai is to utilize both Deshpande and Jadeja during the power play for early wickets. That's a big call, Wow. All right, our next winner is Hiral Bhavsar, who says Mitchell Santner. Well, there you go. It's good advice. Play Mitchell Santner, but Mitchell Santner just can't get a game in this team, and you can't blame Chennai for having him on the bench. It's a great option to have on the bench, but who does he get in for, right? Who does he get in for? You can give us that suggestion as well. Don't say play a player. In whose place is he playing? That's what you have to tell us. Well, irrespective, you have won a nice goodie hamper from Crompton Air Coolers, and all of you can win as well. That's how you can do it. Hashtag Coolest Advice, and those are the social media handles. Send them in, and that is your coolest advice powered by Crompton Air Coolers, Jaldi Cooling. All right, one piece of business left. Our power play score guesses. Sunil Narayan and Phil Salt, how are you going to guess this? There's no way to guess this. Because for Sunil Narayan, the pitch doesn't matter. It can be slow, he'll still score. If it's slow, he'll score at 220 strike rate. Down the game a bit. 66.
Jeez. Ooh, going big.
Yeah. Go big or go.
I'm going the other way.
Yeah.
48.
48. All right, so then I'll sit smack in the middle with 58. What did you say, 60?
66. So
66, and you?
At 54 or so you'd be...
So I'll say 56 then. Okay. I'll stick at 56. So we've got it covered. We've got it covered. It'll be fun. Remember, Shamar Joseph is coming to bowl at Sunil Narayan. He'll like it. But then Shamar will know as well. Just put it here. Put it here. All right, that's all we have time for. Before we go, quick call, lads. Advantage?
Kolkata.
Advantage?
75-25.
Okay.
Oh, big one. No, they've got their nose in front.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. So that's our call on that. We're going to come back when this game ends and Mumbai-Chennai is starting. So it's going to be a really dense, packed show. So do join us for that. In the meanwhile, I'd like to thank Simon Doull and Adam Gilchrist. I'm Gaurav Kapur and you were watching Cricbuzz Live. We'll see you at the Combox 10 over mark. Thank you.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction. ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
Hyderabad 50 Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दें